I'm gonna show you a video that I shot for a client of mine earlier this summer. And the fun thing with this video is that they called me the day before the shoot at like 6 p.m. and they were like, "Hey Peter, what is going on? Can you be with us at location at 5 a.m. tomorrow?" And I was like, yeah, what am I gonna shoot? And they were like, "We don't really know yet, but can you do it?" And I was like, yeah, I guess so. So I arrived at the location, 5 a.m. in the morning, sent them a drone, took some drone shots because it was really good sunrise. And then they said, "We don't really know what we want, but we want to have a video of a man and a woman running." And they also said that they wanted to have some kind of like competing feeling and like a resolution to the whole thing. The only thing that I got was basically a mood board and some locations that we could include into the shoots. I didn't have a storyboard, didn't have a shot list or anything else, but this is the result that I came up with. I'm just gonna say a huge thank you to NJI for allowing me to use that video in this video. So the reason that I want to show you that video is because basically nothing in that video was planned out. We came up with everything on location and I tried to like piece together some sort of story in my head with the information that I got from the company. And it's definitely not something that I recommend you to do because it's really stressful and you're probably gonna be like, "Whoa! What am I gonna do? I have no idea. How am I like, ugh." It's gonna be a lot of things to think about. And that's why I thought I'd share my way of planning my videos. And there's gonna be a bunch of different ways that you can go about. And I'm not saying that my way is the correct way or anything like that, but maybe you can get some tips to incorporate into your workflow, Anna. So there's a huge difference for me when it comes to YouTube videos and when it comes to client videos, because usually when I record my YouTube videos, I get an idea and then I start working from that idea. And when I get a client video, it's usually that the client says, "We want to have this and we want to have that and we want to incorporate this and that and this and that." And then you got to start to work on the whole like video from that aspect. So when I was starting out with YouTube and these kind of videos, I didn't do any planning at all. Like I had a really hard time knowing what I would say to the camera, how I would talk, and what kind of information that I want to share in the video to make it interesting. And that is when I started to like write down bullet points on the topic that I wanted to talk about. And that is something that helped me a lot when it comes to creating more engaging videos and finding some kind of video structure that you want to incorporate into your videos, because having bullet points is going to help you in so many ways when you're recording these kind of videos. For example, if you forget what to say, then you can just bring up your phone, open Google Docs, and then okay, this is what I want to talk about, and then start talking about that. And if you forget again, then you can just open it. You get the point. But there is a couple of videos that I still plan a whole lot. Say for example that I'm going to do a review of camera gear, a lens or gimbal or slider. Usually what I do is that I write down all the features that I want to highlight in the video, that I want to talk about, that I want to include, and then I record the whole video first without no B-roll recorded, and then I just do the talking head, record everything that I want to say, and when I'm done recording that video, then I shoot the B-roll that I want to include into that video. And that is also something that I write down into the Google Docs where I have my bullet points, because having a document for each and every video that you do is going to make it so much easier for you to go from like start to finish and then just be done with the video in total. So do the biggest part first and then do the smaller parts until you get to the editing process, and then you can finalize your whole video. And I'm also gonna say that the more videos that you actually record, the easier it's gonna be, and the more things you're gonna like remember within your head, and the less you're gonna have to use a shot list or bullet points or whatever it is that you have in your document. And every time that I record a YouTube video, the first thing that I start with is the title of the video, and then I base all the bullet points on the title of that video. Whenever I'm doing any kind of like B-roll segment that you've seen here on YouTube, for example the poker B-roll or the woodworker B-roll or any kind of client shoot, I always try to write down a shot list. And I also try to write down which kind of frame rate that I want to shoot the whole sequence in, and what kind of like end sequences I'm gonna have on the different shots. For example, if I'm gonna have like a swoosh transition, for example, that you saw in the poker B-roll, then I want to write down that at the end of the first shot, and at the beginning of the second shot it's gonna say like swipe in, and then that is gonna be like a seamless transition when you're editing. And I always try to visualize the whole sequence or project or video in my head before I start the editing process and before I even shoot the whole thing, because doing that gives you a better image of what the result is that you want to have. And when it comes to my client videos, there's been a couple of times where I've actually had the time to plan out a video, but there's been a lot of times where I haven't had any kind of time to plan out anything at all. And that is usually when I'm shooting events. Usually what I'm trying to think about when I'm shooting any kind of video that is totally unplanned is to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it doesn't have to be complicated at all. For example, in the running video that you saw, you have the beginning that is a little bit tense, it's a little bit like building up, and then you have the middle where they actually run and compete towards each other, and then you have the end where they run up towards the stairs and then high five, and then it's the end. So like that is the beginning, middle, and an end. Depending on what kind of video it is that you shoot, having a beginning, middle, and end is gonna help you a whole lot. If you're, for example, shooting a pure commercial or just pure product promo, then that is gonna be really hard to have a beginning, middle, and end. And then in that case, I'd probably try to like write down shots that will like highlight the products that you're gonna have in the video. So I guess my kind of way to plan out my shots is gonna be, one, to have a shot list and try to write down as detailed as you possibly can to get a like understanding of how the whole sequence, video, or what it is going to look. And especially if you're doing like shorter commercials, like 1 minute commercials or 30 seconds even. But if you're creating videos that are longer than that, I would highly recommend you to like start drawing down some kind of storyboard to know exactly what kind of scenes that you want to have in your video. After that, I'd probably say like try to write down bullet points for the video that you're about to record, maybe for YouTube or for a client, because if you're on location without any kind of planning, it's gonna be really easy to just ask your client, okay, what is it that you want me to focus on? Because then you can just write down, okay, I'm gonna focus on that, and then you get somewhat of a shot list from those bullet points that you talked about with your client. And when it comes to YouTube videos, write down the bullet points that you want to talk about in the video to make it easier for you when you lose grip of what you were talking about, or you know, your point of the whole video, or if you're like fumbling around or something like that. It's gonna make it so much easier. And then I'd probably say like try to visualize the whole video in your head before you start shooting. So if you're ending up on location without any kind of planning or anything at all, then I would definitely recommend you to like start visualizing the whole sequence in your head and try to shoot for the edit, because that will save you a lot of time, and it's gonna be a lot easier for you to explain to your client or record your YouTube video way more streamlined than when you actually started out, because you know, you're starting to visualize the whole editing process of the sequence that you're about to shoot. And depending on what kind of video it is that you're shooting, try your best to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, because that will make your videos like way better. And you don't have to complicate things, you can just have a start, mid, finish. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do give it a thumbs up because it does help a lot. So thank you so much for that. And if you liked the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well, because it's highly appreciated. And until next time, Peter from Sweden out.